Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I love all things beauty. Today I'm doing a first impressions of the Eldridge Skin Tint, Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. I picked up the shades T1 and T5. I watched her video where she kind of talked about using the olive shade, which is the T5, to sort of combat redness on some people, and I don't know if you can tell, but my cheeks generally live in a state of redness. So I was kind of excited to try that. So I'm going to be trying the skin tints. I also picked up a few of her lip products. I hadn't ever tried her lipsticks before, but I got one of the matte ones in the shade Velvet Sorcery. And then I got two of the not matte ones, the other formula, in the shades Night Thoughts and Painterly. So I'm going to try those. I also picked up from the Skin Tint launch one of the lip pencils, the 0N shade. Don't know for sure that these would go with the lipstick colors that I picked, but we'll see when we get there. So yeah, it's gonna be indie brand focus, I guess. So I have all of Lisa Eldridge's eyeshadows. Generally, they live in my single eyeshadow collection, but I just went through and picked up 6 shades and put together in a little palette to use. I've been really into purples lately, and specifically like purples and greens together. So I put together some purple, green, mauve, leaning on the cooler side of things. And because I picked some cooler toned eyeshadows to use, I was going to use the Phytosurgence Cream Shadow in Chilled Cherry as a base. So that's sort of my game plan. I should also mention I picked up the Salt New York Best Case Concealer. And I used that yesterday for the first time, and I really liked the finish of it. I picked up, so N13 is like, it's a little bit darker than my actual skin tone, and even with the Sneaky Balm N13 shade, I always have to mix it a little bit with the white adjuster. But I also picked up the Peach Corrector shade. Again, it's a bit dark, so if I use it, I would have to mix it with the white corrector, but that's okay. I feel like I'm never gonna have an exact match in anything. But along with the concealer, I also picked up some of the blush shades that I didn't have. So I believe I have all of like the original Salt New York blush shades, but it's been a couple years since she like redid the color line, and like of the new ones, the only ones that I had were Cocoa and Spice. So I just picked up some of the like newer shades. I believe I have Rose, but that's just because it was part of the original set. But like Maple, Ganache, Sunburnt, so like I picked up some of those shades. So I'll probably use those as blushes. The key today, I think, is just trying to keep everything light. I really want to see like what the performance of this is. So I think like the heaviest part will probably end up being my lips. I feel like that was lots of rambling. Maybe I'll cut all of that out. Let's throw some makeup on my face. I'll probably zoom through the stuff that isn't that interesting, like my brows. Okay, so starting with Chilled Cherry as the base, I'm using a Rephr B03. This was part of their, it was like a 3 set of synthetic brushes. So I've just been testing them out. Okay, so there's Chilled Cherry. I could definitely stop it there, and this is pretty light. Like I could build it up a little bit, but since I'm just using it as a base, I'll stop there for now. So going into this little palette, I'm gonna go in with the darker purple and basically just put it in my outer corner. I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm gonna, this is that Mercurial shade from the Sorcery palette. I think I'm just gonna sort of put it all over the lid, and then that'll be it for the eye look. So going light for me still involves some glitter and shimmer. Actually, I am going to go in with another one of the shades to put on my lower lash line. I feel like I'm a little bit uneven, so I'm going to go in with, I think, this shade right here. It's like a mauve-y mauve. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of that deeper purple. Okay. I'm not going to do any eyeliner, so I'm just going to go in with mascara. Right now I'm using the Maybelline Rocket Volume Express one. You know how your eyelashes kind of go through like cycles? I feel like I'm in the phase right now where it doesn't really matter what I do. I don't like how they look, but it's fine. It's just makeup. It's just my face. It's fine. I'm gonna throw my brow pen on. I dyed my brows last week, but I feel like they're fading pretty quickly. I also think my brows generally are just pretty light, and especially since I dye my hair darker, like I feel like my brows just need some help sometimes. Okay, now on to the star of the show, the skin tint. I kind of just did my normal skincare routine. I have kind of been picking at my face, so I've got some spots, and since I've been using some actives on them, they're kind of dry, so I kind of did like 2 layers of moisturizer in those areas. So I think it's kind of a good time to use a skin tint because you really get a good idea of what the coverage is like. You have to shake it really well. In Lisa's video, she mostly used her fingers, so I'm probably gonna do that. I'm just gonna use this T1 shade. I don't know if I'm gonna play around with the T5 shade or not. So I put some on the back of my hand. It's like a little bit runny, but it's pretty, it's got some like oomph to it for it being a skin tint. And because I kind of want to see what the actual like feel of the product is, I didn't put any primer on. All right, I feel like that blended in very nicely. So my chin is kind of my problem area. I'm not putting a ton on my forehead. I've got like a pretty deep forehead crease that stuff kind of gathers in. But I am going to take a little bit more and see sort of what sort of built up coverage I can get in some of these areas. Okay, so I feel like turn the brightness down a little bit. Like you can still basically see like all of the spots that I have, but I feel like it provides a really nice finish on the skin. Okay, so actually just for fun, I am going to take some of the T5 shade, which looks like that, and just sort of see what it looks like over some of the redder blemish areas. Okay, hard to tell. I think it did kind of tone down some of the redness. Okay, but for sure, this is definitely a skin tint. Like, even with the couple layers that I have on, like you can definitely still see some of my imperfections, which totally fine with. That's kind of what having skin is like. Yeah, I definitely like how that applied with fingers. I had a damp sponge with me, but I kind of feel like it would end up taking away some of the coverage. So I'm going to see kind of how that sets, and I might need to add a little bit of powder just in sort of the T-zone. We'll see how that goes. So bronzer, I'm going to use the Phytosurgence Spectral Sunlight. This is the shade 2 Rosy Daybreak. This is just a super natural looking bronzer, especially on me with my fair skin. And I generally get red in the sun. I don't ever really tan. Like I will always have redness on my skin. So love this bronzer. Okay, let's go in with the blushes. So this is just one of my little Salt New York things. I've got the Sculpt shades, Taupe, Light, Light Medium. That's the highlighter in Pearl, which I'll probably be using. And then this is Toasted Coconut, Maple, Ganache, and Mauve. I'm thinking Mauve probably with the eye look. And to be fun, I'm going to add some of Ganache as well. I feel like I can never only wear one blush. I mean, it has been done, but when I have so many in front of me, why wouldn't I just keep adding it on, you know? Love me a blush. Good. Let's add some Pearl highlight to the cheeks. Do lips, and then we'll see. I feel like I will probably need to powder. It doesn't much feel like it's going to like set down at all. And she did say, like, this formula, there's a lot of skincare in it, so that kind of makes sense. So I think the lip liner will most likely go best with the Velvet Sorcery shade. So I'm gonna try that combo first, but I don't really know that I want to wear something that heavy on the lip. So I'll probably take it off and put one of the other formulas on. But let's start with the lip liner. Again, Sculpt and Shade Lip Pencil in 0N. It's like just a little bit browner than my actual lip shade. Alright, so let's go in with Velvet Sorcery. Okay. So definitely pretty dark with the lip. Don't know that it's fully going with the purple. So I think I will probably take this off and go in with Night Thoughts, which is leaning a little bit more on the purple. Put a little bit of the lip liner back on. I definitely like this lip much better. It's got more of the like purple bluey tones in it that I think go with the eye look. So I'm gonna get close again. Okay, you can see what the finish on the skin is. That's what it looks like in the wrinkles. Got the eye creases. Okay, so I do want to throw a little bit of powder on. I'm going to use the Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Airy. And just sort of especially too because the Salt New York products don't really dry down. The cheek products are like lip and cheek, so to me they're a little bit more leaning on like a lip type formula because they are so creamy. Okay, I feel like it took the powder pretty well. The Kosas powder is pretty lightweight, but just to sort of finish it off, which I generally do this every time, is just to like sort of help my makeup meld together even after I've put the powder on, is some sort of mist. So I had also picked up the Lisa Eldridge Skin and Makeup Enhancing Mist. So just gonna spray some of this. This is the final look. I think I kept it pretty light for me. The lip is a little bit darker, but because it's that sort of, it's not the matte formula, it doesn't look super heavy, and I like blurred the edges a little bit and made it more of like a soft blurred lip look. And for the eyes, like this is pretty light for me. It still has sparkle and shine, but in terms of like the color depth of it, I feel like it's pretty light for me. So I'm excited to wear this for the day. I will leave a pinned comment or put in the description box how this ends up wearing throughout the day, because this is like an absolute first impressions. I don't know how it will wear yet. I imagine it'll be pretty much like everything else that Lisa does, in that it'll like fade beautifully and it's not going to come off in like weird patches or anything. So I will leave that pinned below. Thank you for watching. If you're new here and you like this kind of stuff, subscribe before you go. I like trying new makeup, but I also want to try to use the makeup that I already own. So I do a lot of shop your stashes or just like my makeup collection type videos. I've been doing some declutters recently, kind of need to get back on that train. So if you like that kind of stuff, subscribe. I would love to have you stick around, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.